Newport News police officers found themselves on the wrong side of the law just in the last year.
The most recent case involves Christopher Rausch. He faces felony charges involving a child. 10 on your side's Ann McNamara spoke to the chief about all of this. Ann?
Tom, Chief James Fox will tell you this is not a culture of corruption, but rather a few bad apples. The mayor of Newport News says he's not concerned, and meanwhile you have 4 officers arrested in less than a year. So we asked a fair question: how many arrests does it take before someone is concerned about a bigger problem?
Claims she has 3 ounces. I think she got ripped off.
Newport News police are known for fighting bad boys on the streets. This year, they were even featured on an episode of the hit TV series Cops. But lately, the department is racking up arrests of its own officers. 4 have been charged since September. Raising the question, is it an isolated spike? The top cop knows each arrest chips away at public trust.
We take pride in Newport News Police, and when something like an arrest of an officer occurs, we know that people, again, are going to question us, question our trust, question us as an organization, and I take that personal. It hurts.
The trouble started back in September when 2 citizens accused Detective Michael Poole of threatening road rage, saying he pulled a gun on them in a restaurant parking lot. We spoke to a victim at the time.
I was always the one to say, hey, something's going wrong, let's call the police. Now I don't know who to call.
Poole was a 27-year veteran of the force. He was convicted of 2 counts of brandishing a firearm. Officer Scott Monger is accused of perjury. A grand jury noted significant discrepancies in his testimony in a DUI case.
Sir, I'm Officer Monger, Newport News Police Department.
Ironically, Monger has set records for DUI arrests, as many as 60 in 1 year. The case has not gone to trial yet, but like Poole, Monger quietly retired. Officer Kevin Nickel was caught driving drunk in James City County back in November. Despite his guilty verdict, he's back on uniform patrol.
It's sad to say the first thing I'm doing is going home.
Officer Christopher Rausch also given a second chance. He was acquitted of rape, sodomy, and abduction charges in 2010, but is now back in the news. A passerby called police after seeing Rausch naked on his front porch this year. The original charges were dropped, but then upgraded. Rausch now faces felony indecent liberties with a child and 12 misdemeanors for obscene sexual display and indecent exposure. And after every arrest, the chief asks his staff tough questions.
Did we miss something? Should we have seen this coming? So we do on every case look at ourselves as an organization. Sometimes when this happens, I get my team in and I say, are we hiring the right people? Most of the time we are.
The chief personally interviews each officer candidate. New officers have to learn and recite the code of ethics. Chief says the screening process is so intense, it's hard to find people up to their standards. Newport News Mayor McKinley Price.
Well, I think Chief has been unique in the sense that he wants the buck to stop with him, and he takes total accountability for anything that goes wrong in his department. I think that's a very admirable position to be in.
When asked about the 4 arrests, Mayor Price said this is just an unlucky year. But we pointed out the city of Chesapeake has a similar size force and only 5 arrests in the last 5 years. Still, the mayor says he's not concerned because he doesn't feel the problem rises to the level of a culture of corruption.
Whether or not there's a culture that we feel that police feel that it's okay to do something wrong. And if we were to have that suspicion, then we would show concern.
That would be the boiling point.
Yeah, I think it would.
And because the buck stops with him, Chief Fox knows the next officer arrest could be his last.
The average chief of police lasts about 3 years. As chief of police, I'm 1 incident away from being fired, and I know that. All chiefs know that. I can be home, sleep tonight, something happen, go wrong, that I've got to deal with. I lose my job over it. But I know that.
By the way, he's been there almost 10 years now. These officers have to take lie detector tests, undergo extensive background checks, and have one-on-one interviews with the chief when they're hired. And if they're charged with a crime, they're automatically put on administrative leave. I'm Ann McNamara, 10 on your side.